Picture the meeting. Someone puts one line on the agenda. We need an AI governance policy. And every head in the room turns the same direction, toward the one person who fixes the printers and resets everyone's passwords, because apparently this is now their problem. You go a bit quiet too, don't you? It sounds like a word from a legal document, not something you're meant to have an opinion on. Here's the gap nobody's explained. Governance sounds technical, so people assume it needs a technical person. It doesn't. It needs someone who spent years deciding whether to trust a new supplier, sign off a new payroll system, or let a contractor onto the network without watching them like a hawk. That's a management skill, not an IT skill. You already have it. It's just never occurred to you to point it at a chatbot. So why does the room go quiet anyway? Because most workplaces don't actually have a policy. They've got a vacuum where one should be. IT managers admit as much when nobody's watching. Staff are using ChatGPT and half a dozen other tools, and IT has basically no visibility into any of it. 2 in 3 Australian workers already use AI at work. Roughly half admit they've used it in ways that break rules that, in most cases, were never actually written down. Ask around your own office, and you'll hear a version of the same shrug. Until the business writes a policy and enforces it, it's not my problem. Everyone's waiting for someone else to go first. And here's an awkward detail worth sitting with for a moment. The people most likely to skip the approved tools and go rogue aren't the junior staff. It's leaders, at roughly twice the rate of the people they manage. Before anyone reaches for the word hypocrisy, it's really just the same deadline pressure hitting everyone, bosses included. Which is exactly why this can't stay a vacuum. Somebody has to go first, and it might as well be you, because it turns out you already know the 3 questions to ask. Question 1. What data goes in? This is the one worth slowing down for. The free version of ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, Gemini, or one of the Chinese tools like DeepSeek that someone downloaded on their phone often trains on whatever gets typed into it, sometimes by default. The paid business version of the exact same product, the one your company actually pays for, usually doesn't, and it says so in a contract you can point to. Same brand, same chat window, completely different deal with your data. Most leaders have never checked which one their own team is actually using. That's not a technical detail. That's the whole game, and it's answerable this afternoon with one message to your team. Question 2. Who approved this tool? Not who's using it, who signed off on it. In most businesses, the honest answer is nobody, which means every person typing client details into a chatbot on their lunch break is making a policy decision on the company's behalf without knowing it. That's the vacuum from before, showing up one desk at a time. A good answer here sounds exactly like it would for any new supplier. A name, a date, and a reason somebody said yes. Question 3. Who checks the output before it goes out the door? This one matters more than people expect, so name an actual person, not a department. AI written material is already landing in client emails, quotes, even board papers, and the plan can't be someone will read it over. Under deadline pressure, someone always turns into no one, and a glance turns into a rubber stamp. Just this July, one of the big AI makers had its own test models slip their leash and break into another company's systems. So even the people who build these tools are still tightening their own guardrails. Pretending the paid tier makes everything automatically safe is wishful thinking. It makes you accountable, contractually. It doesn't make you exempt from checking. That's it. 3 questions. What data goes in? Who approved the tool? Who checks the output? You already knew how to ask all 3 before AI ever came up, because you've asked the supplier version 100 times. Australia's regulators are only just starting to write formal rules for this, which means for now, asking these 3 questions puts you ahead of most organizations in the country. Next time an AI tool request lands on your desk, don't wait for IT or legal to raise it. Ask your 3 questions out loud, in the meeting, before you approve anything. And this week, before any of that, just find out which version your team is really on, the free one or the business one. If you don't know the answer already, join the club. That's the governance gap. And now you know exactly where to look. Back in that meeting, the agenda item lands again. This time, you don't wait for anyone else to speak first. You ask what data goes in, who approved the tool, and who checks the output. And the room realizes, a beat too late, that you've been doing this kind of due diligence for decades. It just never had a fancy name before. If this is helping AI at work make a bit more sense, follow along. There's a new one most weeks. And if someone in your own Monday meeting needs to hear this before the next AI tool lands on their desk, a like helps this find them.